We operate our lives from two inner sources, from our egos and from our souls. Welcome to Calm in the Chaos, where we try to be aware of which is which and how it affects us. When an outside stimulus pokes at us, much like a probe poking at an amoeba under a microscope glass, we respond. Now, that poke may be a serious one from a scalpel in the operating suite, or it may be a little poke from a driver in front of us who's going under the speed limit. It may be a concerning stimulus with the magnitude of hearing each day's national news, or it may be of smaller consequence, such as realizing you're out of milk. Nonetheless, we respond, and how we respond can be from a place of ego or from a place of soul. In a sweeping generality, I will say that Western thought and practices tend towards ego, while Eastern practices lean more to soul. In recent years, meditation, mindfulness, yoga, Tai Chi, and other Eastern ways have become more prevalent here, and for good reason. We realize that ego only gets us so far. Ego keeps us alive, but its drive to sustain itself can block serious spiritual growth. Let's take a deeper dive. Ego is all about me, holding individualism to an exalted position in our culture, whereas the soul is all about we. Knowing how we're connected to and need one another was surely a lesson we could have carried over from the pandemic year, but I'm afraid we didn't take it seriously enough. We need to be in one another's company to feel the support of our friends and acquaintances. We need to know someone has our back. Someone will text us back when we have a panic attack at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, this isn't to say that ego should be squelched to zero. No, ego allows us to stand with confidence in front of a classroom of students. Ego allows us to enjoy the blue ribbon at a county fair, but there needs to be a balance. Balance is one of the three legs of the stool of living a calm in the chaos life: balance, respect, and responsibility. Those are the three. Striving for balance in the midst of chaos is what the ego soul struggle is all about. So here are some thoughts to ponder. I'll pause now and then to give you time to absorb and process. So don't think your sound has a problem on your device. Ego wants to be filled up. Soul knows that it's already full. Ego loves the destination, the prize, the reward, the A plus. Soul enjoys the process, the journey. Ego loves competition and winning. Ego has a tough time with losing. Our souls love companionship, of working together on a project, valuing one another's lives as gifts to each other, holding one another up, praising and truly wanting the best for all. Ego insists on preserving itself and fights to be top dog. Soul gives a kidney, takes a bullet for a comrade, whether that be literal or standing up for a fellow human being in the midst of a dialogue that hurts them. Ego tends to look outward, wants to see a spotlight shining on itself, needs attention and recognition, whereas soul looks inward, building courage, strength, and character. Ego needs validation from outside sources. That's why it feels so good to take a bow at the end of the show, or why it lightens your day when the boss tells you you're doing great. This matters less when your soul expands its knowledge of your worth, when your inner work is complete and you don't require outward validation or praise to know that you are a beautiful, capable human being who is worthy of love right now, just as you are, a complete and wonderful example of the creation story. Ego can fall into a state of lustfulness and valuing another person for their looks and their talents instead of valuing them for their character and the inner work that they've done. Soul finds that love, ego finds the lust. Ego wants to be filled with all sorts of material things: food, drink, drugs, pornography, praise, attention. And here's where that balance comes in, because we need food. We need to know we're appreciated. But when those things become ways to fill an emptiness of soul, the scales are tipped and we become unbalanced. This is tricky business for sure, to balance our egos and our souls, but I am in favor of trying to find the wholeness of soul over the emptiness of ego. I wish for you to become a servant in your life, to think outwardly, to use the Sanskrit word seva in your daily lives, seva. Seva is the Sanskrit word for selfless service. It's a strong tenet of both Hinduism and Sikhism, and the concept is also a big part of the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, though they may not use the Sanskrit word. As a part of the discipline of yoga practice as well, when you realize that yoga is more than an exercise program, Seva strives to transcend the ego and adds to the soul's wisdom. Seva includes loving kindness, compassion, gift giving, and paying homage through the act of love. More than ever, we need to seek out and appreciate the soul keepers among us, those who value community and joy and goodness, those who are on a path to building strength in soul and having less to do with ego, those who value community, might have dinner with friends, have those soul seekers over for dinner, invite them for cookies and tea, or sing with them in a choir, play volleyball with them, take a morning walk with them. Enrich one another's lives by sharing time, supporting one another, and by being present for those in need. May we all continue putting one foot in front of the other and leading with love. Blessings on all.